about all the tea that was spilled in the house today, ladies and gentlemen. Today was officially gossip day in Big Brother's house. Everybody was talking about everybody. Yes, there was one thing or the other that was talked about. There was a group conversation early in the morning, and then there was the different cliques and caucuses having their different, gossip sessions. And it was quite interesting because, ladies and gentlemen, everything that was discussed, it's nothing we do not already know about, but it was quite interesting to see that there's been some sort of shift and change in the groups and the individuals that were having these conversations. And I found those conversations quite interesting because for a moment right there, I'd been dying to hear the perspective of certain individuals with regards to some of the issues, going on in the house. Yes. And so even though today started on a very chilled note with the housemate falling asleep right after they returned from their yoga practice this morning, there had been a very ridiculously hilarious altercation between Abobo and Nsuku, and then Nate also inserted herself. And guys, I call it ridiculously hilarious because it wasn't unnecessarily vile. Yeah, it wasn't vile, it wasn't like they were gunning to cut off each other's head. No, but it was hilarious because good thing is, as they were hurling insults at Abobo was just sticking to just one phrase: you're hurt, you're hurt, you're hurt. Now, I'm going to be frank with all of you. I do not know what exactly these people were arguing about, yes, but it seemed like they had actually triggered Abobo, and Abobo had responded back, and we know that Nsuku would not keep quiet, so she had decided to go below the belt, calling him all sorts of names, calling him stupid. Nate also added hers, calling him a woman, that he's a coward, he doesn't fight with the men, he's always fighting with the women, and that's why he was ostracized from the men's conference, just saying all sorts of things. And Nsuku kind of got vile a bit, because she kept on referencing his family, and I felt like, nah, that was quite distasteful because, girl, Abobo has a child, a daughter precisely. You are also a mother. You have a daughter as well. So what makes you think you can insult this guy's family when he is not even insulting your own family, and you think you are in a better place to judge him as a father? Because she kept on judging him as a father, like more like insulting him. Why did I even say that the whole thing was not even vile in the first place? Because guys, from Nsuku, it was quite vile. Yeah. And I don't know, it seems like there's something working in Nsuku this period. I don't know, but I don't know. She's becoming something else, guys. I don't want to tell you what I'm thinking, so I'm going to leave that one to you all. But I felt like, well, it was quite unnecessary. Very unnecessary. Most of the things that she said were quite unnecessary. But I was quite happy that Abobo did not reciprocate that energy, because if he had, you know how crazy most of these viewers can get. They will say, oh, is he not a man? As a man, can't he just swallow all the bullshit? Why is he attacking a woman with that same energy? There's this gender bias in the society where some people's way of thinking is that even if a woman punches a man, the man should learn self-control. Nobody ever talks about a woman learning self-control. And I'm not an advocate for a man, getting violent either verbally or physically with a woman, or even emotionally. But I am a strong advocate for every individual, regardless of the gender, learning to exercise self-control in every situation. Yes. So as far as I'm concerned, Abobo really handled that situation very well. And Nsuku was just going off. Yes. And then Nate also including herself. And then I also noticed that, of late, Nate and Nsuku, they are beginning to form some sort of alliance. Now, they're not particularly friends per se, but when it looks like Nsuku is having, a go at someone that Nate does not like, Nate is always around the corner to give her a low five, just like Bonnie B and Nsuku and Mata used to do, So there seems to be the birthing of a new sort of alliance between Nate, Nsuku, and Mata. Mata especially has already put herself in that clique, but Nate is not yet interested to form that kind of bond with Martha just yet. So ladies and gentlemen, I thought I should share that one with you. But before we get into the rest of the details, hi, especially welcome to my channel. My name is Gloria Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah, and I am the girl with the tea. Apologies for that break in transmission, but just a quick reminder, guys, that tomorrow is Saturday. And you know what happens on here? We will be converging here for our Saturday YouTube live conversation, our community gathering. I look forward to seeing all of you guys. There's a lot I want to hear from you. I don't want to be talking a lot tomorrow. I really want to hear from all of you, all right? Because a lot of you have been sending messages, and I've been seeing your comments as well that, oh my God, Glory, when are we going to gather? I have a lot to say. So I want to listen to all of you speak tomorrow. So please make sure you come through, all right? Now, all of that said, let's just quickly continue with the rest of the video. If you had seen my previous video, you would have heard me mention that Melino had advised Jojo last night to open her eyes and look around her to see what's going on around her. You know, that it wasn't really about the game, but it was about her heart, her emotions. He had also advised her to speak to her most trusted friend in the house, and that is Tyrone. That Tyrone would be in the best position to explain things to her that she wasn't really seeing for herself. And Jojo had told him that she was quite ignorant of what he was talking about. Now, just as Melino advised, Jojo had spoken to Tyrone, and Tyrone was relaying that whole conversation he had with Jojo to Swiss, which I felt was quite snitchy. It was quite a snitchy move on Tyrone's part, because Jojo is supposed to be Tyrone's best friend, you know, so I was quite disappointed that Tyrone packed that whole conversation and told everything verbatim to Swiss. And the way he had told Swiss about it, it was like, when she was asking me, I was like, why are you asking me? Like, why would you ask me? Oh, for you to have asked me, it means you have had a conversation with somebody else. And so Jojo had been forced to tell him everything that Melino had said. So it was actually about Ezra, you know. She had asked Tyrone if he sees, like, what are those things he sees in the house that he feels that she's not seeing. Is Ezra playing her, or does he think Ezra, or does he think she's the one playing Ezra? Because apparently Jojo's feelings for Nsuku are still really alive, even though this guy has told her that he has a serious relationship outside the house. And according to Tyrone, he did not want to involve himself in that whole situation, you know, because when she wanted to start off with Ezra, he had advised Jojo, you know, not to, like, she should open her eyes, whatever she chooses to do with this guy, you know, but she should just have fun, but also be smart about it. But because Jojo is a church girl, you know, she's not that type of girl that is in anything for a good time. You know, it has to be a commitment type of thing, you know. So he said he had advised her that way. Now, we did not hear the rest of the conversation because there was a lot of movement around the house and the cameras kept on moving here and there, you know. But as I mentioned before, I was quite disappointed in Tyrone that, you know, someone would trust you with such a conversation, such an information, and would even be seeking your advice, and then you would pack that entire conversation to go share with someone else. It just did not make sense to me. Now, speaking of Ezra, ladies and gentlemen, apparently he and Jojo, they've sort of given each other space. Yeah, they've given each other space. The last time they had a conversation was, I think, Tuesday night. Tuesday night, yes, nominations had happened on Monday. Tuesday night, you know, it seemed like after Jojo nominated Ezra, it seemed like she had this moment of realization that, okay, I don't really like this guy and I really need to give him space, you know. So they've been giving each other space, and Ezra had made several attempts to, you know, talk to her, get close to her, but the energy was not reciprocated. And so the guy too has been spending more time with his friend, his female friend, Sipesi Claire. Yeah, these two, they've had a friendship from day one. And I'm glad that Sipesi Claire has had a clearing the air conversation with Jojo already. But it seems like the whole house in general are seeing something entirely different. Now, according to Sipesi Claire, there's speculation around that Jojo and Ezra's drift apart is caused by her. And so she had called Ezra, that's Sipesi Claire, she had called Ezra and had told him the speculations she's been hearing. And I told him that please go and sort out whatever issue you have with Jojo. And at this point, I'm going to give you complete space because I don't want to be involved in that sort of narrative. I don't want people to see me that way, because I have had a conversation with Jojo and I've had a conversation with you as well, but the fact that you are spending more time with me, you're no longer spending time with Jojo, it is now painting me in a bad light and I do not want that, So she had told him to have a conversation with him. I don't know if Ezra is going to do that, but Ezra had asked Jojo to assist him in calling the whole house together after the arena games, so that he could apologize to her and sort of explain again what the whole men conference idea is all about. Because according to him, what started off as a joke is no longer a joke, because there's now this talk in the house that the guys are creating some sort of gender inequality. They don't want to see the women in leadership positions, and so they did not really pull their weight during this week's wager task rehearsals and preparations, because a female is the head of house now, so they really wanted the female to fail, and there was a statement that Sipali had made which had really offended a lot of people in the house, the females, especially guys. But the good thing is Sipali has apologized privately to Jojo, and Jojo did not even pick offense, funny enough. But then, from the way people had talked about that whole situation, they had mentioned that Jojo was quite offended. So I was wondering why, when Sipali was apologizing to her, she did not address the issue head on. Instead, she was laughing. She was making the whole thing look like it wasn't that deep. It wasn't serious. I mean, guys, for real, sometimes these housemates, I just choose to just chill and just watch whatever they are doing, because trust me, if you decide to follow their not so straightforward way in the house, you would equally get manipulated, just as they are manipulating each other in the house. But anyways, moving on to the next gist. This one was a conversation between Mata, Nsuku, and Swiss. These people were talking about Mandy Hagan's oversensitivity, which tends to have created some sort of wall around her, that people are now scared to have conversations with her in the house, because it's like, if you even want to joke with her, you're literally walking on eggshells around her. You can't. She's very fond of throwing jabs. She's very fond of asking ridiculous questions. She's very fond of, annoying people, saying the most ruthless things, all in the guise of, I'm speaking my truth, I'm vocal, I'm blunt, I do not hold back. But then when they all retaliate, she begins to cry fouls, claiming that people are body shaming her, blah, 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 blah. An example they gave is she's always questioning people like Mata for always doing makeup and for how long her braid is, and Mata has not changed her hair yet. She's always questioning the likes of Ashley as well, for not exposing her short hair, but always using those extensions that she uses. But then when those ones now ask her why she's always wearing different wigs every day and why she's always wearing makeup every day, she begins to pick offense. She gets offended. She's angry, and asking them why they are asking her such questions, that she's a makeup artist. She's doing makeup because she wants people to see her talent. And then they're like, okay, we don't get it here. I mean, you feel comfortable throwing such uncomfortable questions at us, and then when we reciprocate the energy, asking you the same type of questions, you get really offended, you pick offense, So at the moment, these people, they're packing up her crimes for her in a cup, and they are waiting for the day they are going to get really, really frustrated, so they're going to lash out at her. Because at this point, everybody is tired of Mandy's, I don't even know what to call it at this point, but everybody's quite irritated at this point. Finally, speaking about Mandy Hagan, whilst that conversation about her was going on outside the house in the garden, there was a conversation going on between herself and Sipesi Claire. They were talking about Jojo, because Sipesi Claire was equally trying to clear the air about her friendship with Ezra. Pilile was there, but at some point she left to go prepare food in the kitchen, So they were talking about how kind-hearted and how sweet Jojo is, and how they are now happy that she is now, relating with other people in the house and interacting more with other people outside of that Nate's cool kids circle, because they did not like the way she was being treated in the circle. Guys, if you all recall, I mentioned it to you all that she looked like the sacrificial lamb, in the midst of bullies who would use her and pick on her and just basically just humiliate and ridicule her for their own entertainment. I explained all of that to you, and it turns out that that was the same way that these girls also saw Jojo. So Mandy was saying that she was the one that had actually called Jojo, sat her down and had a conversation with her, an eye-opening conversation where she had advised Jojo that, listen, these people that you're spending time with, clicking with, and isolating yourself from the rest of the house, they are forming friendships and alliances with other people in the house, securing their spot in the game. Because if anything happens, if anything goes south in that friendship groups, they definitely have other people to fall back on, other people that are going to have their back in the house. But then you, at the end of the day, you'll be left hanging. Nobody would have your back. So you need to move around more, make friends in the house, and get more people that you can trust. And Jojo had explained that Tyrone is her best friend there, and Tyrone is the one bringing her into the clique. But now she too, after that whole Nate situation happened, she too has now realized that nobody has her back in there. And so she had to take a step back, and moved away. And Sipisi Claire was quite excited that, Mandy had actually had such a conversation with Jojo, because for her, even though she and Jojo at that point in time, they had their differences, she did not like the way that clique was treating Jojo, especially with the fact that last week Sunday, after that whole eviction thingy, they had left her alone in the kitchen to cook whilst they were fraternizing with one another where they were on Nate's bed. And then they had the audacity to come out and ask her, what's taking so long with the food? Why is the food not ready? So she said she still hasn't gotten over that, because she just felt like, how can you people call this person your friend, but you only want to use her? And that is it. So ladies and gentlemen, that is all the gists, all the tea, and all the gossip from today. If I missed anyone, let me know in the comment section below. But still, I would love to hear your thoughts about all of this in the comment section. And yeah, this is where I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing evening. Bye.